Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session, episode number 23 of Appscan Tuesdays. And today we are going to talk about how you can automate your scans. We will use Appscan on cloud for that with Azure DevOps. We will automate scans. We will automate how you can open tickets with Azure DevOps defect tracking system. And to help me with that, I have Florin Coada again with me, Coada. So, hi, Florin.
Hey, Ethan, your pronunciation gets better and better every single day. I'm sure one day you're gonna get it straight in
By
one
episode
try.
50, maybe.
There's time.
So,
There's always time.
so thanks, Florin, for joining me again and helping here. Um, uh, Before we jump into that, before we even go, there is special news that we have today with AppScan on Cloud, and because it's coming from the static side, I'll let you share the big news there.
I appreciate it. For the first time, I can announce my latest and greatest before someone else steals the thunder. So for us, it's quite a good day. We've added 5 new languages for our SaaS support in the cloud. Part of the big work we've been doing was SAP ABAP. So for people that are doing development in those environments, they still have business critical applications. Business. I just made a new word, business
Good.
critical.
New category.
New category, yes, for people to use. We have support for that. And we're also looking to help you get more done for your mobile segment. We've been hearing from people that they do want to make mobile scanning part of their DevOps processes and our SaaS tools. So we revamped our support for Android, Java, and Objective-C, and we are adding support for Xamarin and React Native. That was a hard one to say for some reason.
And those are on top of the two others that we already supported.
Correct.
So we have now 6 mobile languages in the cloud.
So we're doing pretty well. You know, Swift and Kotlin, like Ethan said, were already available for a while, and we're hoping to capture more. Now we could say that we have Ionic for Angular, which
True.
would make it 7.
7. So it's not great. We are awesome. We have 7 languages on mobile, and yeah, there are a few others that we will be working on adding. But most likely, if you're developing a mobile applications, we have your back. And you know what? Like I mentioned in the in that special event, Florin, how much does it cost me as a user to be able to scan those new mobile languages or SAP?
Well, according to the licensing terms, you can just use it. So if you're already a user of our cloud solution, you can go ahead and use it. We are going to add those 4 new languages to our beloved Code Sweep Community Edition tool as well. So if you're a VS Code user, you can use those as well as part of that one.
The mobile
Or
languages.
the mobile languages.
Yeah.
SAP will remain a cloud platform tool. It is a lot of it is a lot of a scanner, I would say, for a tool like Code Sweep to handle.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, I want to jump into, you mentioned people want to run SAST scans as part of their automations. They want to run SAST of mobile. We won't show on mobile, I guess, but let's show how you do static analysis as part of your pipeline or
Absolutely.
scans in general.
It will be my pleasure to do so. I have to do the awesome transition from my camera to my. So let's hope this will go smoothly for us. What we have here is the Azure Console. So we're going to play a bit with the new customer API project. Yeah, one of the things I'll mention before I jump straight into the steps on how to automate this, whenever you deal with automation, you will want to review Ethan's videos on policies and compliance. Always, if you're looking to set up a dev security gate, which we'll do today, think about aggressive policies, very focused on a few issues, very specific stuff to keep things in check. For me today, I'm going to play with one that focuses on SQL injection. Of course, you have your own threat management, you have your own threat information, decide what policies are best suited for you. But the more aggressive the policy, the more automation you can do. With that being said, I will make a lovely switch to Azure DevOps, and we're going to set up a pipeline. For today's demo, I'm going to use the visual GUI. You will have the option of defining this through YAML if you want to, or other configuration steps. But in my case, I will go ahead and define a new pipeline for myself. I'll remove any of the existing configurations, and we'll create one from scratch. The first thing we'll do, we are going to look for AppScan. The plugins are available in the marketplace, so you can just grab them from here. I have my credentials pre-configured with the API key and secret. I will then select an application to store my results against. And also this controls which policies will be applicable. So in my case, I will use the new customer API. I will give this a scan name to easily identify it. I'll just call this Azure DevOps. DevOps, that's a hard one to spell. And then new customer API. I'll select the scan type. You can do static analysis and dynamic if you want to do from here. I'll be working with static. And I will want to scan everything in my subdirectory. I do have a configuration available for AppScan in there, so it will know what to scan for me.
And to build a configuration, you basically use the AppScan Go, as Chris showed in one of the previous sessions.
Correct. Either use AppScan Go, easiest way to do it. You can do a manual configuration, but AppScan Go is pretty much the easiest way to handle this. Some options you can look at. You can decide which speed to go at. I will select a very simple scan for my use case. And I will want to define some advanced settings here. I will want to suspend the job until the security analysis completes. This allows me to wait for the results to come back and they make a decision on whether or not I should fail a build. And finally, I will want to set the fail build configuration. I have an option to define a threshold. If you're just starting, this could be a good way of looking at things. But if you know what your security policies, what your security requirements are, you can select the non-compliance with application policies. And this will refer back to the policies I mentioned previously in the ASOC portal. So at this point, I am ready to go. I can save and queue my scan. And I'm going to call this one added security step. Now let's call the security gate. Let's be very DevSecOps here. And this will kick off my new scan. Now, typically to a cooking show, this is the part where I take the turkey, I put it in the oven, and I will show you a turkey I have cooked earlier to save some time. And in this case, we see that we did run a scan. We see some information about why my build failed coming from AppScan, and this is because it found 3 non-compliant issues. If you want, you can go and see what happened during the scan. You can investigate the scan logs and understand everything that went into your scan, as well as understanding what was introduced in terms of issues. That can be done by having a quick look at the HCL AppScan report, where you can see exactly which issues were introduced and which information you should be aware of when trying to remediate this. As far as a full integration goes, a lot of the users of AppScan only stop here. They've done the scans, and then the rest of it, they pass it to the security team to manage and let them do it. With the second part of the demo today, what we are going to do is we are going to build a quick integration from a defect tracking system point of view. So if we go to our lovely boards, we will remove some of the existing issues just so we can do the lovely tell and show like magicians teach us. We're going to have to go back and properly delete them this time. Now, what we want to do is we want to pull the information from here, from my application in ASOC. And I want to grab all the non-compliant issues. You will see in ASOC that by default, we show the non-compliant issues. I will have more issues available for my application, but as I'm looking to pass this on to developers, I want them to focus on what they need to fix to become compliant with the security policies. So this is what we will try to sync across to Azure DevOps. So what we will do is we will grab this configuration. This simply tells us what type of issues to do and which configuration files we have. And we're going to issue a command to our service. The integration is done using a service you can have available. And whenever you set it up, it will then go ahead and look for issues to synchronize for you. So at this point, we're just going to.
And you can use this service as part of your pipeline.
Absolutely. What you would want to do is have this set up at the end of a build. If you do want to do this integration, you just issue the command and then wait for it to synchronize the results. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this manually. For the purpose of the show and tell, we are going through the steps manually to talk you through the process. And now that my job is running, I can always query to understand what's happening and see the status. And we can see now it's pulling the issue reports, kind of going through the process of grabbing information from ASOC and pushing that information to the defect tracking system with some additional information in there. One thing I'll mention while the synchronization happens is that the Appscan Issue Gateway is available as an open source project. So if you do want to modify it, if you do want to customize it to your own environment, you want to add support for some new tracking systems, we're very happy to have you contribute to the project. Make it your own. You can make whatever changes you want to and make sure that it is working the way you expect it to and it matches your environment. We think the setup we have will match most of the environments out of the box, but as there are a lot of flavors in terms of how you can use this, use the defect tracking systems, we do encourage you to optimize it to your own requirements. So if we have another quick look, we will see that the job completed and it created some new tickets. One of the things I'll mention first is we do prevent duplication. So if these tickets were already added to the tracking system, next time you run this job, it will not happen. And we also try to do a little bit of a link back. And that's my security policy, not allowing me to stay idle for too long.
So as we're waiting for you to log back in, what you showed here is how to use the AppScan plugin for Azure DevOps to run the scan as part of the build, how to pull results back from at the end of the build to the defect tracking system. We're not showing here yet the integrations with the IDE, maybe if we have time later. But first, let's see how it looks in ASOC side, right?
And now that I have the details, I can see them in here, but I can also see the information about the issue being linked to the Azure DevOps. So you can go to this link, you can access it. So we refer it back and forth between AppScan and your defect tracking system of choice. Now, if I go to my Azure DevOps, if I refresh it, I'll have the new issues showing up in here with new IDs, which we'll see that were created just a few seconds ago, according to my timestamp. And when you go into this, you can get some information about where the issue was found, some severity statuses, priorities, and you can also get a description of this issue with the issue details available for you to look at and understand what the problem is. Now, as an added feature today, Eitan already mentioned this and how you can synchronize things and pull them from Eclipse. And I think we're still well within our time limit, Eitan, are we?
We're good.
So what we're going to do next is we're going to open Eclipse, and I'm going to quickly show you how you can pull this information down from Eclipse and make it available to your developers. Well, I guess as a developer, you'd be pulling this and have this issue available to you and link back to your code.
And I really like this part of the story. I find it really crucial. Someone configured the scan to run as part of the pipeline automatically. Someone else configured maybe an integration with the defect tracking system to open defects based on security issues found in the scan based on a policy. But at the end, the developers don't need to go anywhere. They can just stay in their IDE and consume the results there. We don't want them to need to go to AppScan and learn how to use new tools. It's just the first time just to register, and beyond that, everything is transparent to them in a way, right? So what are we showing from here?
From here, you can just pull the application issues. And again, this will present you with the new non-compliant issues to help you understand, hey, what's my status? What do I need to fix? And I think the beautiful part about this is you can control a lot of the things from your own environment. Like Eitan said, it's a bit of a stay-at-home security. Don't go to a different tool. Do everything in an environment you are familiar with. And in my case, I'm going to connect to ASOC. I'm working on this new customer API, so I want to see these issues.
Now, normally developers will probably see one application or two tops, not what you show here, right?
I agree. For me, as I'm managing the entire enterprise, I'll be able to do this. but we know that customers split things into their own asset groups. So you'll only see the asset group you're working with, which could be, like you said, 1 application, 2 applications, and that's about it. Now, as I was saying, the same 3 issues, the non-compliant issues, are available for me to view in here. Everything is grouped by fix group, giving you the best remediation advice, best fix location. So as you're working with this, you can add your fixes, you can add this. And as soon as you change something, you fixed it, you change the status in here, this status is reflected in ASOC without you having to do anything. So the next time you run a scan, if you find the same issue, if it's fixed, it will no longer show up in your scan outputs. It will no longer show in your reports. It will not impact your security gates, and you can go on with your job. I do have to mention that we do have quite a few integrations that are available for people to play with. So if you want to see that, you can access our plugins page where you can find the different plugins we play with. This will link you to install locations. Most of them will be available through the official marketplaces. Some of them will be available, such as the Appscan Issues Gateway, will be available as a open source project GitHub for you to play with and configure it to however you want to work with. But have a look at the page. Let us know what should be next on this, and definitely go ahead and build your own. We have the APIs and utilities to help you do so.
Thanks, Florin. This is really a great demo. Thank you for sharing.
And this is the part where we do the magical transition. And hopefully I got it right.
Yeah, you got it. No one sees the green screen behind me now. Thanks, Florin. And as we shared, right, you can do things from ASOC, you can do things from the UI, but we wanted to show you that you can have the full experience of running the scans. Oh, and we forgot to show the scan finish, but running the scans, bringing the results back to your defect tracking system, loading them in the IDE. You can even fix them in the IDE and mark them fixed in the IDE, but we were short on time this time. So, Florin, any last comments on this topic? Or in general?
I think my general word of advice is don't be afraid. Start it out. If you ever get stuck, reach out to us. Definitely know where to find us. If you have good ideas about integrations, go ahead and try to build them yourselves. If you want to modify any of the existing integrations, let us know. If you have great ideas, we'll support you. We'll find a way to help you out. And as always, just be very aggressive with those security policies for the build pipelines, or the development teams will not be your friends for long.
Yeah, I mean the clickbait that you did earlier, I'll include the video below, but it's crucial, right? There is a maturity model. You can't just throw hundreds or even thousands of sometimes issues at the developers just because we can find them. Start small, experiment it, find the way that you get 2, 3, 5 tops, because if you get more than that, you're a goner. So
it's all about muscle memory.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
So thanks everyone for joining for another session. Thank you, Florin, for coming again. Bye-bye.
See you on the next one.